right, welcome everybody to Wednesday's Product Spotlight. I am Dave Cooper, and we are back from Washington, D.C., where we were at the Building Systems Housing Summit. Today, we are talking about the roadmap for digital transformation in the housing sector. Today, we're going to welcome Matthias Dannapfel, the former chief engineer and head of Department Factory Planning Laboratory for Machine Tools and Production Engineering of RWTH Aachen University. He is also the CEO and co-founder of One Factory, helping to convert or build new factories that are sustainable in an economic, ecological, and socio-cultural sense. So join us for this detailed conversation on Industry 4.0 and what it means for the housing sector. But first, we always got to have a word for our sponsors because we can't bring you any of these informative conversations without them. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Are you looking to start a factory? Optimize your existing factory, streamline your production, or take your team to the next level? Whatever your needs are, Forward has a solution for you. Reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. Halleck Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their Machine Buyer's Guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, halleckltd.com. Brought to you by Greatech, one of the largest Autodesk partners globally and software developer of the PowerPack Advanced Design, Advanced Steel, and the StruxSoft product line. The complete solution to automate wood and light gauge steel framing, design, and documentation all the way out to CNC output. Model, design, and manufacture with StruxSoft. Learn more at StruxSoftSolutions.com. All right, that's awesome. So listen, everybody, be sure to go thank all those sponsors. Like I said, we can't do any of this without them. So let's hop right into it and let's bring Matthias onto the show. Matthias, how are you, sir?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much for having me, Dave.
This is exciting to have you on. You know, we traveled through Europe with Wash, World of Smart Homes, just a few short months ago. And Osama Labi said, you got to talk to this guy, right? So not to put any pressure on you or anything, but I hear you have a lot of great things to talk about, and we're going to get into Industry 4.0 in just a second. But first, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Please do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we may have your mother on the show. The floor is yours. Go for it.
All right. So how much time do we have? I think about 40 minutes in total. So just keep it short. Yeah, born and raised in Germany, in the western part of Germany. Actually, I'm gonna skip school. Always been interested in construction, actually. But then I went for machinery and equipment. So I studied mechanical engineering at Aachen University, which is one of the biggest technical universities in Europe. During that time, also, I started my interest in business. So I also studied business in parallel to that. I also spent some time abroad in the US, actually. So in Wisconsin, Appleton. Shout out to all my former colleagues and friends out there. And of course, to the Packers. Everybody got to love the Packers up there. And afterwards, I went back to Germany. And yeah, I stayed with the university, actually. With the WZL, which is my former employer and my alma mater in terms of the institute. Joined the factory planning department and worked in teaching, actually conducting science and also consulting in factory planning projects. And this is what I've been doing for the last 10 years. Did my dissertation in the field, was able to lead the factory planning department with about 30 engineers, where we developed new stuff. I just saw that one of the sponsors is a big Autodesk partner. We worked a lot with Autodesk also on bringing the digital twin to life in factory planning. Yeah, and then in 2019, just before COVID, so best time to start a new company. I founded one factory with an architect because we learned throughout the time that the best factories are planned in parallel by people like me who do the production and the logistics, but also the architecture, and bringing that together early in the planning stages, also in a digital world, to make sure that everything goes together in the best way possible to create, like you just introduced, sustainable factories. So quick run through, and whatever you want to deep dive into, feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah, and that goes for the audience as well. So if you're watching this, we will take questions and answers near the end of the presentation. So please, if you got questions, just let us know in the comments there, and I'll be able to pull them up. So why don't we hop into it? Let's just start right off with what is Industry 4.0?
Okay. So without having a lecture, like I just said in our pre-talk, the Industry 4.0, actually it's the fourth revolution in industry. So going back to the steam machine, which was the first one, and then we had the electrification, then we had the computerization, and now we have the final digitization. And this is where we are still in. So it started the journey, which we call Industry 4.0 now, started about 10 to 12 years ago. But it's not only the digitization of production, but actually using this to create value, which is always very important, so that you have a holistic concept on create data, use data, leverage data, and then to either improve your production, or maybe you're able to invent completely new business models, because now with those data points, or combining those data points, yeah, you are able to create completely new business models that have not been known about or never be thought of before. And this is what we call, in a nutshell, Industry 4.0.
Data in our industry is being looked at more now than ever before. We haven't been using it, and many companies don't even know the value of it or what they should do with the data. Every other industry has been using it for a long, long time, and it seems like we're just kind of crawling out from under a rock and starting to use it ourselves. What are your thoughts on that, and what would you say to companies, on how to use it?
Well, it's actually start doing it, start learning, because everybody is sitting on this big treasure chest of data, dating back actually from my own experience, the company that I worked for in the US. I had my own projects, and we had a quality issue, and they had data, lots of data to work with, but it was written down on paper and put to a drawer. And this is unfortunately how it works for many companies today. So they are keeping data, tracking data, but then they are just storing them away and not using them. And then if you digitize them, and only if you do it in the first step with an own or by yourself built Excel solutions, that will give you a first touch point with that. Then you learn from the data, you improve your processes, and then you get to the more sophisticated systems. So my clear advice would be start doing it, because it will open up doors and chances you've never thought of before.
So what give me an example of like the data a company could start collecting, because it's easy to talk about data. I mean, there's data on how many times the phone rings, there's data on how many emails you get, there's right. When you sit
Yeah.
there and you're really looking at best practices of data, and I'm a new company, and I know this is kind of what you guys do for a living. And I said, where do I start, Matthias? I have a factory, I'm putting out product in houses, in my factory, or panelized wall systems. What's the best place to start collecting data in your mind?
Yeah. And the best place, first of all, I mean, you're probably already collecting lots of data. You're collecting quality data, you have machine data, you have order data, you have data on your production run. So you don't have to collect new data in about, I would say, 99.9%, but you can leverage the data that you have. And then, of course, ask yourself, so what is the problem that you're facing? So if you think about the more like the lean tools, so if you look at the value stream, for example, where do I have my bottleneck? And what can I do to improve it? And then if you ask questions, what data can help me solve the issue that I'm facing here? May it be a quality topic? May it be a throughput topic, may it be a downtime topic on the machine, and this gives you then the hint where to start. Yeah, it's of course, if you're more advanced, you can really learn from the data, but in most cases, you will be able to look at your processes from a more traditional way and then see and learn where and how data can support you.
Are you starting to see data and AI come together now in your world?
Yes, I think AI, not an AI expert, of course, but it runs on data. If there is no data, AI can't do its magic. But until you are there, I think there's many steps before that. And to be honest, AI is like I would say it's it's the end game of all of that. Yeah, but in many cases, you probably have heard more of the co-pilot currently, where you still have the human being as the decision maker, who is then supported by this digital co-pilot, who helps him or her to make those right decisions based on the analysis of huge amounts of data. And actually, how it could work, if you could call up one of those slides that you hopefully are seeing currently, because you ask where can companies start, and I think if you look at the most manufacturing companies, and that's I would say also true for the construction industry, you see here where Industry 4.0 actually starts is here. You have or most machines have some kind of a computerization, so they are collecting or creating data inside. Most of them are connected to an ERP system or whatever kind of system that generates or connects and gathers those data points. And then where you can start is just to see what is happening and how can I replicate my actual physical streams by using those data and see what is happening. Then it starts where you can, it's pattern recognition, for example, where you can learn from the data. So if you have quality defects, and dating back to my internship that I did in the US, this is exactly what it did. We had some quality defects in the end, and the company didn't really know where did they come from. So what I took was what I did was I took those data points that were gathered, I digitized them in the first place, and then I understood, or first of all, I saw that if the product went to machine X and then after that to machine Y, 80% of the defects were coming from that machine combination. And then we could start analyzing, why is this the case? Because before that, it was all was yeah, in a I'm looking for the word. So it was shelved off. So these data points, everything was in spec, but all of a sudden was out of spec. But if you saw the interconnection between those, then you could go for the deeper understanding, and this then can help you in the fifth step to be prepared. So if you see this data or this pattern come up, there might be a certain a certain certain rate of this defect, and then you can prepare for that. And then in the last step, really in the sixth path, where you have the autonomous, self-reacting, self-optimizing factory, which is where everything is then built and driven by AI, if you will. But most of the company actually, if you are on level 4, level 5, you are already quite advanced.
So with this data, if I'm hearing you right, I mean, it's really coming down to, once I start collecting the data, using the data, understanding the data, it's going to help me find the inefficiencies in the
Yes.
company. And it's going to eventually get to a point where it can help me react autonomously. Is that what I'm hearing?
This is like I said, this is the final stage where you can just have the complete system run the factory for you. So in the end, there will be no factory, no general factory manager anymore if
Right.
everything is self-optimized. So some companies they speak about a lights out factory, which is dark because there is no human being working in that. But I would say also for 99% plus, this is not the solution where everybody will be. I'm convinced that in most industries and most processes, the humans will, at least for the foreseeable time, still play a huge role. and are they the decision makers on each level. So a decision maker can be really the worker on the factory ground, running his machine, and needing to adjust it because this is where the action is happening and he knows the machine best. But he can be supported by data. What's wrong with it? Temperature, pressure, whatever. So this helps him make his decisions up to the factory lead, who of course needs to overlook many machinery and the interconnection between many machineries, and then make decisions based on the throughput, on the output, how to reroute, how to prioritize customer orders, and so on. So this, like I said, you can go down that way, but like always, fully automating everything will cost a lot of money, and somewhere on the way there is this sweet spot where you have the best, yeah, how do you say in the US, a bang for the buck, so the best value for your money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The best value of the money. So companies that are not using data, are they going to lose in the end?
Most definitely. If we can just go on another slide, because this is actually one. This can be seen here.
Mhm.
Who will not use data? I think if you're familiar with the S-curve model, which is I can't read it too well here, but it says the performance level, and then over time, at some point, automating everything, I mean putting robots and machines into a factory will only get you so far. It will level out at some point. But now, if you go with data-driven manufacturing, you will jump to the next level of the S-curve, which will really increase your performance. And in the beginning, not everything might run. This is what's indicated here on the lower part. It won't be there from day one. You got to learn. The systems got to learn. The people got to learn. But at some point, you will catch up. And especially, you see here, for example, we hear in terms of sustainability, you are now able, for example, for this piece, this actual piece that this guy is holding here, we can give the distinct digital footprint for this piece because we know what kind of power went into the machine in the background, who was milling it, for example. Was this power from hydroelectric? Was this from solar? Was it from coal? From nuclear power plants? What did we get? Where did the material come from? So you have this digital twin actually that has all those data points. This will really push you forward. And I would say bottom right corner here, Jeff Bezos, probably everybody has heard of him. Not
Yeah.
the dumbest man on the planet, I would say. And he says if you don't go for this in the long run, especially, you will lose. So coming back to your question, yes, if you don't work on that, at some point, it will bite you.
Yeah, it's definitely going to bite you. The data that you get, like even in this presentation and looking at the S curves and how it works for a company, the process in itself, how long do you see it taking? Let's say you work with a client, you say, all right, well, hey, we're going to start helping you through this process. We're going to start working with you on collecting the data, so we can actually monitor, collect the data, and start seeing these processes work their way to full, I guess, autonomization or what have you of the changes that's happening. What is this a long game? Is this something that can be done in a year, or is this something that just keeps building and building?
Yeah, I would say it's like you said, it keeps building. You're always playing. Game is always on, I would say,
Yeah.
because you can always learn. Of course, in the beginning, and also looking at the S-curve, in the beginning, it will be a hard game. It will be a really hard push, because now you have to not only gather the data, but you have to structure the data. And this is really grassroots work, because otherwise you can't use it. Machines can't use
Right.
it if it's just unstructured data. And this is what's indicated here. So it's slow in the beginning, but at some point there is this tipping point, and then you're picking up speed, and then you will find new cases, new problems that you can solve, new value that you can create, and the people will have fun with that, because in the beginning it's like always changes. People are a little bit afraid of that,
Yeah.
asking, okay, will AI be taking my job? Am I putting myself out of work here by training the systems? And let's not even call it AI, but
Right.
this technical systems. Um, but in the end, it will not, and they will understand the value that's created here. That will also take away some of those repetitive tasks that everybody is performing. That this can be done automatically, and they can focus on the really value creating work. And but like I said, it's a long game. In the beginning, you have to sort the data, you have to work out the cases, you have to put it in place, and then you have to roll it out. Actually, usually you start with some kind of a lighthouse or a proof of concept, something like that, and then you got to roll it out. Therefore, of course, you need to work towards a common goal, that is the full digitization then of your company, from end to end. So from purchasing, supply chain management, up to delivery to your customers, and everything that's on the way.
Yeah. And are you guys currently using any end-to-end type of custom software to track all of this? Is there programs out there, or is it all custom designed based on the industry and the product you have?
It's of course there are systems that play a huge role. So the ERP systems with all the modules that is in there, you can build lots of value on that already. But of course, it's depending on the industry you're in. Some systems are more like designed towards that, but then usually it's a mix of both. So you have some standard tools that you will not go around actually, but the interfaces and how they play together will be really important. And what's important for each company is that you build up your own architecture, so your own IT architecture that you're working towards, and that there is no one single truth. But they can look different. So if you, for example, want to call up one slide again that I'm just showing, we have brought here some examples from different companies. So you don't have to read everything, but let's just go through this quickly. So and what you can see here is that you have, for example, you have a base, and then you have platforms and certain apps built towards it. For example, here for Dürr or ABB, who is using building is many stuff on Microsoft, IBM, as you see here. Others are more like the Amazon Web Services. So there is no one solution that is built. But here on the right hand side, this is our typical architecture that you see, where you have your author systems that every company is using, and typically that's legacy software, and you probably won't change it. So what you need to build on top is that you have a layer that aggregates all the data points from your author systems, from your distinct softwares, builds kind of a big data, but also sorts them through, and then makes big data come to more like a smart data set. And built in that smart data set, you can build the applications that will help your people create value in the end for the customer. And you have to have an idea of this IT architecture for your company, to be then able to pick the right solutions, and have either a customized approach or maybe even a fit to standard, where you use standard software and fit your processes towards it if you don't have it. But you need to be in the driver's seat for that yourself.
Understood. Understood. And do most companies have somebody in that seat that is their full-time job, is only collecting the data, or is that a multiple role type person?
More and more companies, they have a CDO or a CIO, who's
Yep.
overseeing all of that. Digital transformation, and not only collecting data, but working on creating value from that data points. I think this is a job throughout the company. So everybody should understand that at his or her job, to see what can I do here, what can I contribute, but of course somewhere at the CIO CDO level, usually this is where it's all coming together.
So you make a comment through collaboration to innovation, and I want to make a comment there. We were just at a conference where we just attended that folks were showing slides on vertical integration versus horizontal integration. Does
Mhm.
collaboration to innovation fit into either of these buckets? And can you kind of give us the whole overview of what that means?
Yep. I would say both. So if you look at almost any product that's brought to your customer, it's usually not done in one single process step by one company, but it's always a product of some level of collaboration, either on a horizontal one or on a vertical one. And to innovate, like we just said, you need to bring together different players. To create value for the customer. And maybe I can give you an example also from the slide deck, where this was done. Let's take a class, which is which produces agricultural machinery. So very if you see the green ones, they are a worldwide player, probably one of the biggest in terms of farming machinery. And what they used to do is they bought, or they made a physical product. So this kind of machine that you see are very common. And throughout the digital journey, what they did is, of course, they were able. This is especially if you look at this farming machines. This is a big piece of technology nowadays. So talking about autonomous driving, no problem for these things. Of course, they are working in kind of a protected environment. There is no other cars on the street or in the field usually, and they are using GPS data. Then of course they are using this also, but they are feeding, not only using GPS data, but they are feeding data, for example, where and how much they were able to farm, and feeding those data back to the cloud. And so that in the next year, the farmer knows exactly what kind of herbicides or fertilizer he needs to put in that distinct places, because this is from the year previous what they were able to farm. What they then built, and this brings us now to this collaboration piece, and this is more like of a horizontal case. They built up a platform, it's Farm 365 Net, which not only has this piece of technology that Class is offering, but they have, for example, a buyer. Are they called buyer also in the US for the fertilizer, for example? They have insurance companies, because they are insuring the farmer against a misharvest, and so on. And all of those companies are working together to build a better product, to build a better experience for the customer, which is the farmer in that case, or all of us, because then we have better food at a better price point, and so on. So this is something where I would say on the horizontal collaboration really leads to innovation for all of us, actually, in this case. So this is one example for that. And then talking about vertical integration, I think a huge barrier in terms of data flow usually is the barrier between companies, because you can be really really protective of your own data. So what the vertical integration, at least in my understanding, is that one of the companies buys the other one. So either you're integrating backwards or forwards. So you're either buying your customer or your supplier, because then you can break down this barrier and really make use and leverage this cross data that has a huge amount of value. And along the supply chain, then you can really see, okay, if my supply is delayed, what does this do with my production? What does this do with for my customer? And this, of course, you can also do it across company borders. But this, requires the will to collaborate.
Sure.
And if it's one under one roof, this makes it oftentimes a lot easier.
Yeah, I want to go back to a comment you said: better food for better price point. And how can that apply to housing? Is that better quality, more affordable? Is it kind of the same concept?
Yeah. So if we talk about housing, I know the German market very well. Maybe you can also reflect that for the US, because you're more knowledgeable about that than me. Here in Germany, we have almost a bizarre situation currently. We have a huge demand, which is our administration. So the Bundesregierung, they say they need 400,000 apartments per year built. The supply side is something like I think it will be less than 150,000 this year. Don't catch me on exactly those numbers, but I think the orders of magnitude will be right. So we have a high demand on the one hand side, but there is no supply. Of course, we have a big problematic situation with high levels of inflation. So price, I just read yesterday that certain materials, they are still rising in price because they are so energy intensive. And of course, energy is one of the biggest problems we're having here. But also with the interest rates, almost nobody is building currently because the prices are so high, interest is so high, and if you want to go or want to rent it out, there is no market for that to rent on that highest level. So we have this really bizarre situation where there is demand, but nobody can supply it. And I think thinking in terms of technology and Industry 4.0 and rethinking how the industry works, hopefully will help us to create a better product or more supply, also at better quality for people.
In terms of vertical integration, do you have to actually buy the company, or can you come up with a software solution or partnership for increased visibility into the company?
You don't have to buy it, but you can. But this really requires all the partners to buy into the system.
Mhm.
So this will only or create this value that you can achieve if everybody buys into the system, is open about it, collaborates, opens up, maybe gives out or hands out some of those data, is give first, take second. Because if you give, something good will happen and it will come back to you. But this requires a change of mind shift in terms of collaboration between suppliers and customers, for example.
So how does a factory or a production company of any sort, track this? I mean, is there a scorecard? How do they determine where they are in their journey on this digital transformation?
Yeah, there is, for example, we have in Aachen, one of our colleagues or some of our colleagues, they have developed kind of an Industry 4.0 radar that assesses you where you are in terms of four yeah, I think it's four segments. One is technology, of course. Second will be organizational. So are you organizationally ready? Third is data, and fourth is culture. But also, does your company culture allow for this digital transformation? So is everybody accepting it and adopting this kind of mindset for the or that's required in digital transformation, and what's required to do so?
Yeah, I love it. Love it. For all you out in there in the comment world, we'll get to some of these questions and comments in just a moment as we wrap up. But let's hop into Wash, World of Smart Homes. We were in Europe touring several key businesses like Progress Group, Greenco, Oral and Hartman. Even got to go to Poing, which is like one of my favorite places in the world. See all the houses that are there made of all the different materials. Can you talk a little bit about the World of Smart Homes model and how that
Mhm.
fits into Industry 4.0? Because it sounds like they're doing a lot of what you just said.
Yeah, right. So it's a collaboration of different professionals and companies who want to challenge or tackle the issue that I just described of the housing at affordable prices. And when it comes to Industry 4.0, it's this is will be the backbone between all of it. So, like you said, we have a house consists of different. If you look at the bill of material, it will be different materials, different technologies inside a house, and they all need to be brought together. And the wash system is, on the one hand, it's a smart product design, so it has the glued brick walls. It has the it has the oh, sorry, I'm lacking the words now. Maybe you can help me out. It has the
The insulation,
yeah, the insulation, but it also has the sorry,
environmental
what's it?
properties.
Yeah. No, but it has all the different parts in that. that add value. Like if
Yeah.
you're the climatic ceiling, that's
Yeah.
what I was looking for. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it has those different type of technologies. But in terms of Industry 4.0, if you think about housing, it all has to backwards. It all has to come together in
Right.
the on the construction side in the end, and it all has to be supplied from one factory, or the supply chain needs to be orchestrated. And this, if you think about the factory then of World of Smart Homes, that has the different technologies under one roof, and they can be played. They can be orchestrated to make sure that the output that is produced reaches the construction site in the same time. Because you see, the house this is usually the bottleneck. Yeah, the time on the construction site, the time it takes to build the house. If you look at construction sites in Germany, there's so much going wrong. I'm building a house myself currently, and almost every day something happens. So and to have a digital backbone to all of these different technologies that need to come together, um, this will solve hopefully one of the problems.
So connecting all these companies together, right? When we talk about
Yeah.
that horizontal integration, Progress Group exists, Green Code exists, Horl and Hartman exists as companies right now. But when you look at all their technology, climatic ceilings, CMBA, all the different places we were at over there, you can take and you could actually bring all that data together to make a seamless product and process in one manufacturing facility without reinventing the wheel. You just have to write how the data talks to each other.
Yes.
All
So
right.
you have to build a good value stream, of course, but that's actually not the hard part. Then you have to make sure like that the digital backbone runs in place, so that you can orchestrate that digitally, and the benefits of doing this in terms or in comparison to a traditional model is that you have in on so many levels. And maybe you allow me one last slide.
Sure.
um, that you have in terms of capex, for example, you can go down 10% in terms of traditional level. Your own opex will be way lower. Your sourcing will be better. You have less overcapacity because you will have better planning, better integration, and less overproduction, so overcapacity, overproduction, so that you can really produce with the amount you need. And that gets you, and I hope, Osama, we have the latest numbers that in terms of US dollars, that you can produce for $90 per square foot of housing. But you can also put that into different buildings, which would be a game changer, at least in Germany, to bring it to life, to produce square meterage at. I'm going to square meters here in Europe, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Um, but this would really allow us to tackle the issue that we're having, and having this under one roof would actually enable that. Yeah.
So by having all of this integration and companies under one roof, it can lower the price point significantly because you're combining all the technology in one place versus separately out in the job site.
Yeah, yeah, and you can have this orchestration. Like you can see here, the OpEx
Yeah.
will be lower. You can leverage the CapEx. You will have a higher productivity and sourcing and so on, and all this adds up. Yeah, so take 10% here, 20% there,
Right.
and you will reach 50+% of gains in terms of traditional ways.
No kidding. That's awesome. So with that said, Matthias, let's go to a couple comments we have here. We got Greg Ugaldi out there. Nice job, Dave and Matthias, outlining a path forward. One factory is showing us the way. Greg Ugaldi, by the way, is the chair of the National Association of Home Builders, and his past job was updating the president of the United States on housing in the here. So good to see you, Greg. Hope all is well. Hopefully we'll see you again real soon. Just ran into him last week. Peter D. Maria. All right. So you want to talk about a company that believes in data and tech. This is Midrise Modular out in Los Angeles, and they have perfected the 2D system, SWS panels, and now they're moving it into their modular mid-rise company. And everything they do is around data. So this is pretty awesome that they're here. So their question was, who as one factory worked with here in the United States? Have you worked with any customers over here yet?
Yes, we have worked with many German companies who are working there, but also Native Americans. I'm not allowed to call the names, but it has been one of the big subsidiaries or daughter companies of one of the big American tech companies that we have worked with, actually on modular construction, prefabrication in the US. So we also have a construction footprint in America.
Excellent. Matthias, is there anything that you want to let everybody know that I haven't talked about yet?
Not really. I would just say to have everybody engage on that journey. So it's not like I said in the beginning. It will bite you if you don't start. And starting usually is the hardest part, but it will be easy. You are sitting on the data. You can start with simple solutions and then build on that, and it will really give you a big idea of how the future could look like and how you can improve your business.
Matthias, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining us. And actually, it's the evening for you, I would imagine, at this point. So appreciate you taking time away from your dinner to join us. Really do appreciate having you on. And for the rest of you out there, thanks for tuning in. And please put any more comments if you're watching this after the live show. We will get back to you. We always want to get your feedback. We want to know how we're doing. And I'm sure Matthias would love to hear from you as well if you have some future projects you're looking at. So make sure you reach out and say hello. Matthias, don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you after the show. For the rest of you out there, guess what? It's Wednesday. We still got 2.5 days to build it better. So get back to work, enjoy yourself, have fun. It's the best industry around. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.